Does social media play an important role in the Google algorithm? And if the answer is yes, how do we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that that truly is the case? And the reason I wanted to shoot this video today and share some ideas that I have about this topic is I was actually talking to a friend of mine, a marketing friend of mine, and we're going through, how can you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, Mr. Johnson, that that is the case? And I said, okay, I definitely have my thoughts on why this really does have an important role. And I started digging around for some kind of proof, and I came up with a video by Matt Cutts, who works at Google, and he says, yes, we use social media as a signal in the Google algorithm. Now, I'll add that video to my post on Marketing Easy Street, where you can also find this particular video, what you're watching now, if you're watching it on YouTube or another video sharing site. So how does this play a role? How do we know for sure that social media absolutely impacts the algorithm? And I did a blog post, and I really started thinking about these things. And this is what I want to walk you through. It's really about a 5, 6, 7-step process that a site naturally goes through. And let's take a look at those individually, and let's talk about how this impacts the Google algorithm and how you can use social media to improve your search rankings and the things you should be thinking about when you're creating your content. So number one is that it always starts with quality content. Something I've been using lately, a phrase I've been using, is it web worthy? I mean, let's face it, the web is slam-packed full of mediocre content that just isn't really worth our time. You want to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you're adding value to the web. It doesn't have to be groundbreaking or earth-shattering. There's nothing wrong at all with sharing your own thoughts on a subject, but make sure that you're adding some type of value. Make sure you're adding to the discussion. And when you post that kind of information, then what happens is you start getting a few shares. You start picking up a few subscribers along the way. People start noticing your content. They bookmark your site and they return because you've got that great content. And from this point, your site starts to go from a kind of a standalone island to a community of people that enjoy the site. They return to the site. They add to the discussion, and it goes from kind of singular, one person, one webmaster, launching and controlling a site, to a group of people that frequent the site and they add to the discussion. From this point, you've got this kind of grassroots promotional thing going on. You have people, hey, have you been to that site on subject vintage artwork? Or have you been to that site that really goes into depth about using and creating video with your iPhone, which all my videos are created on an iPhone, if you can believe that. And this is exactly the kind of grassroots promotional efforts that can start to play a bigger role as we move forward. So grassroots PR campaign is a byproduct of the community that's happening. And from here, we start to gain a reputation as the go-to place in the niche, whether it's a website, a video site on video channel on YouTube. Your content becomes important within the niche in the community. And because of that, it starts gaining authority. And soon this authority is passed on to the search engines because they see what's going on. The content is always refreshing itself as people add new comments. Fresh content is great. People start hitting like and share, and more people come into the mix. And as more people hang out and spend time on your site, that is what is a really strong signal to Google post-Panda, and that triggers the search engines to recognize your site as an authority. And from that point on, you really start to achieve this point. The tipping point is a great thought right there, where you've got sustainable traffic that can benefit your website day in and day out, and your site can sustain itself, and you can get more subscribers, and it starts to really become a snowball effect. And that's how I really try to look at social media myself, is that when you put out great content, these people can do this kind of thing for you with the community. They can share content, and that is how it can have a really big impact with the Google search engine. Lastly, I want to mention kind of the button pushing generation. So with Web 2.0 that started probably, 5, 6, 7 years ago or so, all of a sudden it was really easy to not only share some content or upload content, but to start pushing buttons. And these kind of people on your website are a wonderful thing. They start pushing buttons on your site, which ultimately syndicates your content further than without these people. So that's another aspect of why social media can be so incredibly powerful, and you should look to incorporate social media in your campaigns and your website today. So Brian G. Johnson here with Marketing Easy Street, and just kind of cranking out some